Chapter 7, let's talk a little bit about food production. Now, as I mentioned earlier in one of the earlier videos, there is enough food produced on the planet for the entire population. However, food is not distributed equally among them. So this also depends upon transportation problems. If we need to get food from one place to another, there might be some issues with that. High food prices in some area of the world. There might be weather events that knock out crops, an entire harvest of food, or weather events, meaning that we can't get the food to those particular people. Wars, and we have lots of civil conflicts going on in many parts of the world right now where people can't get food because of war. And there might be other reasons that may contribute to famine around the globe. Now, agriculture does produce most of the world's food supplies, and because of improvements made through machinery or by chemical means and selective breeding practices, we actually have a variety and an abundance of food all over the planet. But again, it depends upon where this food is produced on the planet and how much access you have to it. That will determine whether or not you live in a famished area. So within food production, we use a variety of different types of things, not just meat and vegetables, but we also use microorganisms, and in many cases this could be bacteria, this could be a fungus, this could be anything. So one of the things and one of the food products that we probably eat is yogurt. We use microorganisms in order to make yogurt. Now, the bacteria Lactobacillus bulgaricus is added to milk, which then converts lactose to lactic acid, and it lowers the pH of milk. And this process separates the clumpy proteins, which are the curds, from the whey, or the liquid part. So that old nursery rhyme, Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet eating her curds and whey. Well, that comes from the clumpy proteins and the liquid part of basically this process. So microorganisms can also be used for food themselves. Now, since many of them do not require soil to grow, you could actually use this in areas of the world that might have food shortages, especially for good sources of proteins. Yeast can actually be used as a supplement. So yeast is a fungus, and yeast could be used as a supplement in many of these places. And there's also something called mycoprotein, and this is made from a fungus as well. It resembles the fibrous texture of meat. And right now you can go to the grocery store and find something called corn with a Q. I think it's Q-U-O-R-N, corn. And this product tastes exactly like chicken, and I'll be bringing some in for you so you can take a little taste and see if you enjoy it or not. So this is something that's right now you can go buy. Now, unfortunately, we also have food additives, and food additives are something that's added to food for reasons other than nutrition. Now, there are some types of food additives, like vitamins and minerals, that are added for nutrition. However, in most cases, when we're talking about food additives, we're talking about those that are not used for nutrition. So these might include preservatives. We have a variety of preservatives in our foods to make their shelf life longer, dyes to make the product look a little bit better or a little bit unlike what it was made from. We have emulsifiers or thickeners, and we also add flavoring to our products to make them taste a little bit better. MSG, is something that we add to foods to make food taste better. And MSG is not just in our Chinese food. It's possible that it's in some of the food products that you eat because it adds it's a flavor enhancer. Now, sometimes these food additives can be healthy additions, and sometimes they're not so healthy. So they might be added again for nutrition, but for most of the times they're added just because. Some of the products that you currently eat might have some of these products in them. For example, we have the ones that you see on the screen here. We have things like Allura Red, sodium benzoate, or sunset yellow, or Pensio 4R. Now some of them are actually in products. Some of them are banned around the world. So for example, let's take a look at the Allura Red. Now this is an orange-red dye that sometimes we see in soft drinks or condiments, perhaps medications, maybe even cosmetics. So if you've ever seen those Pink Panther wafers, I remember those as I was growing up, those create a nice pink color, and that's all because of Allura Red. Now some of the effects from this: mild allergic reactions, particularly for asthma sufferers, those with sensitive skin, and it's not recommended for children, and this is banned in 9 European countries. So these are things that you should take a look at. Check your ingredients label for anything that might have something that you have no idea what it is. Sometimes, like this ingredient label here, if you see something called preservative, sometimes you might see food acids. These might not be natural, and these might be things that are created for the purposes of making the food taste better or look better. So make sure you know exactly what you are eating.